We're going to look at the triangle choke, and in this sequence what we're going to do is the leg work that's involved each and every time that you go to finish the position. So first we're just going to look at what your legs are doing in the position. Remember, there's like limitless ways to set up the triangle, but each and every time that you set it up you're going to end up having to finish. So let's look at some of the mechanics that are involved here. Of course, the triangle happens when one arm is caught inside your legs and the other arm outside. Now right away, what I want to try and do is get my hip into my partner's chest. This puts a lot more body weight on his upper body and makes it a little more challenging for him to lift his head up in posture. So you notice what I'm focusing on is keeping the back of my knee glued right into his trap and squeezing my hip into his chest. Okay, this is the first thing. Notice my legs are not in the triangle position yet. I just have my feet crossed. Second thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to pull him forward by just pulling my knees to my chest. So I pull him forward, okay? Now I want to create like an inward pressure with my knees. Once I do this, I'm never going to relinquish this inside pressure. Even when I make my adjustments, I'm constantly squeezing inward from this point forward. This leg will now transfer to his hip. What I'm doing here is giving me a lever so that I can now move my body and adjust my leg to capture the back of his neck. Notice how my right leg now is on his shoulder blade. It's not really going to be the best position for me to finish the position. So what I want to do is move my body, and as I move my body this way, my leg will move at the same time. So I kind of cut across his neck. Now let's talk about what your feet are doing. I want to flex my feet. What this does is it creates a lot of tension in the muscles in my legs and causes for a lot tighter choke. Okay, so finally, what I'll do is I'll throw my leg over, clamp down my top leg, and just with very little effort, squeeze the knees in, and he'll tap, just like that. Okay, so what you can do, I would recommend, is about a 2 to 3 minute drill in which you're alternating from side to side, just using your legs. It's an excellent way to develop the muscles needed to finish the triangle. Bang, and then we'll switch to the other side. Okay, pull in, adjust, and just keep going. Okay. Couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes of that drill, guaranteed get a good burn in your legs and start having a really, really tight triangle choke. Okay, we're talking about what our legs are doing to finish this triangle. Now let's talk about what my arms are going to be doing. Okay? The best suggestion I could give you is as soon as you start to capture the arm is immediately both hands behind his head and start to pull his head down. This makes it so much more difficult for him to achieve his goal, which is always going to be to posture up. Can you posture up real quick? Which puts a lot of pressure on my legs here. So right away, as soon as I capture the position, I kind of want to, once again, lock my hip to his chest, pull in. I'm going to start using my hands to pull his head. Okay? Now I can use my hands to help make the adjustments that I need. Okay? A lot of times what I'll do is, as I'm transitioning and I'm trying to move my foot across his neck, I'm going to reach with this hand and grab my shin bone. This puts a lot of added body weight on his head and once again makes it hard for him to posture up. Also, what I don't want to do, a common mistake is for people to try to reach around the outside and pull. This actually hurts my own foot. You can actually hurt your ankle like this. Always go for your shin bone here. And what I'll do is as I make my adjustment, my hand kind of helps pull. Now it's really hard. I can just hold this position for quite a while. Go ahead and try to move around a little bit, please. You see, just right here. It's very heavy on his head. Anytime I'm ready, I make my adjustment. To finish the choke, I move back to the head, and all I do is I pull as I continue to squeeze my knees in. Bang. Okay? That's what our arms are going to be doing each and every time that we finish that triangle. Okay? Once again, we're in the triangle. One of the things that's going to give you trouble is dealing with this person's arm stuck on the outside of your hip. Okay? Ideally, in a perfect world, I'd like to have his arm passed across, which gives me a lot more pressure in the choke. It causes his shoulder to go into the side of his neck, and it takes a lot less force. So I see a lot of guys get this position and then end up having to get it up or get their guard passed because they don't know how to deal with this arm being out of position. So let's look at just a few simple tricks that can help you finish. The easiest, lock your triangle just as tight as you can get it. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect yet. What I'm just trying to do is just keep my legs tight around his back so that he doesn't improve his position any more than he already has. Okay? Now, all I'm going to do is just lift my hip up as high as I can. I'm trying to make a straight line with my body. Notice if my body is bent, it's very hard for me to push his arm over, okay? So as I make a straight plane with my body, there's nothing really preventing me. All I'm going to do is put both hands on the side and I'm going to push on his tricep, shoving it over. And now, what do? I go back to the drill. Pull his head, squeeze my knees together. He's already tapping probably without me even finishing. Of course, I can make it a little bit tighter by making my adjustment here and finish the triangle. Okay? That's option number one. Option number two, okay? I'm going to reach for that shin control like we talked about earlier and just get it as tight as I can. All right? Now, I'm going to use my arms to assist in the squeezing motion. Remember I said the knees are going to be squeezing in like this. What I'm going to do is reach around my legs and just connect my shins here. Now my arms will assist, pushing in as my knees do the same pressure. So it's a lot of pressure right there just to finish the choke without having to go to all the trouble to pass the arm over. All right? One final trick that can help you. Okay? Sometimes in this case, my foot will be caught very deep on his shoulder blade, so I won't get enough pressure to quite choke him out. He'll be feeling pressure and it will be definitely uncomfortable, but sometimes I'm in this position and the foot is just not quite enough on his neck to finish. So what I can do is change my leg position to get a very tight pressure on his neck. Here's what's going to happen. What I want to do is kind of block his shoulder so that his upper body is right in line with my hips. Now what I'm going to do is change my triangle by grabbing my ankle and switching my triangle to the other side. Here what I want to look for is this heel digging into his back. This keeps the position tight. My hand is going to come between his ear and my thigh. Now I wrap around my leg and lock my fingers together. From here all I do is squeeze my arms together and keep my legs tight. And he's going to feel a lot of pressure and he's going to tap. Okay? So those are going to give you a couple of easy solutions for that tough situation of having that arm dug on the outside of your hip blocking you. All right? We're going to look at how to get an overhook on the opponent and work a triangle from an overhook. One thing that can help a lot is if you think about getting the back of your wrist inside of his wrist right here. This kills a lot of his leverage. Okay? Now I want to combine this inside block with pulling in with my knees. All right? It's going to make him start to come forward, and as he does, I start to reach around and hook over his arm. All right, the overhook position. Can you turn me a little bit, please? All right. In this overhook position, I want to think about getting on my side a little bit. Flat on my back is a little bit harder for me to move. So all I do is move to the side. Now, the attack that I do is really going to depend on my opponent. Normally, you're going to get two reactions. Here, you notice how his arm is posting on the floor a little bit. This is a very common reaction. I'm going to take advantage of this gap that he's created right here and slide my foot inside to finish the choke. I'm going to block his wrist, take my foot on his hip, and just move my hips away a little bit. And as I move my hips away, I can bend my leg and now block his bicep. Notice I kept his wrist the whole time, so I'm never giving him the opportunity to push my foot down, ankle lock me, any of that stuff that can bug you. From here, all I do is I slip my triangle in, and I can go right to one of the finishes that we just talked about, just squeezing in. Okay? Once again, inside wrist position, pull in, overhook, get to my side a little bit. A very common reaction also is the guy who likes to just mash your leg with his elbow. He kind of keeps his elbow in and just mashes your leg, and what he's trying to do is pass your guard right here. It's a simple motion, and a lot of guys will pass the guard just like that. But that timing, when he's pushing down, is a good time for me just to push right on top of his knuckles, jamming his hand into his chest. And now, instead of letting my leg get pinned, I'm going to throw my leg over and start making my adjustments and finishing the triangle. Pow. Right there. So, you get caught with that overhook, you got two simple triangle attacks. Okay, now we're in a situation where you're in a pin, you're on the bottom, and the person's got you in a hold down from the north-south position. If I'm sneaky, I can catch a triangle from this bad position. What I want to do, first of all, look at my arms. I'm going to keep my elbows in, and I'm looking to put my palms in his armpits this way. This is going to slow his options of tacking my arms down a little bit. Okay, so I'm not hugging him in any way. I'm not hugging him. What I'm doing, come back, is keeping my forearms blocking him. Palms in his armpits, just like this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is create a little space by pushing up with my elbows, not with my hands, but just with my elbows, balling up, and I'm going to slide my knees up. My right knee is going to go on his chest, and my left leg is going to go over his back, like this. Okay? Once again. This way. Now, right hand is going to come out, left hand is going to hug his arm, and I'm going to start sliding my body away. What I'm looking for in this position is my right foot to go to his hip. Notice that my butt is up off of the mat the entire time. My leg will come around his neck, and as I'm doing that, I'm moving my head this way, pulling his arm over, and finishing the triangle. Pow, right there. One more time. Elbows in, palms in his armpits, bump up to create space. My right shin comes in front, my left leg comes over. Control his arm, lock his knee, and start to scoot away. One thing that I'll tell you here is don't allow your body to be in a straight line with his. Here he will pass to that side very easy. Go ahead and go around. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to avoid. So the way that I avoid that in this position is I try to make a 90-degree angle with my chest and his chest. All right, now as he tries to go around that side, he's being blocked by my body, okay? So that's a detail that's going to help out a lot. Foot goes to the hip and my butt stays up off of the floor the whole time. Raise my leg and start to pivot, clamping the triangle, finishing him right there. Okay, now let's look for a triangle off of a missed reversal attempt. A very popular reversal sweep is the hook flip, which happens when my feet are inside of his thighs. Rather than wrapping his waist, my feet are hooked in. And the advantage of this position is I can elevate his body. So what I look for from here is my hands go right in his chest, under his chin here, and I'm just going to extend my legs and kind of lift him up. What I want to do now, hook his arm, put my hand on the mat, and start to scoot out to the side. For the reversal, what I would do, pull his arm in, lay on my side, flip him over. Here I could take the mount position, very easy, or get a side control position on him. However, in this scramble, you're looking to reverse him. He knows that I want that arm. So many guys will keep that hand posted wide on the floor, so I never have the power to really collapse his post. All I want to do is put my hand on the ground just like he's doing. I'm going to scoot my hip away a little bit, which frees my foot to go right on his bicep. Now his arm is kind of blocked and stretched. All I'm going to do is lay on my side, pull my leg out, and start working on the triangle, just right here. Okay, one more time. From the butterfly guard, he's kind of blocking my hips, trying to keep me flat on the floor. I'm going to push him off, overhook, and get to my side. Trying to sweep him, but see how he's basing out. It's going to be hard to do. So I just scoot away a little and block. Now just lean and start to pull him in, and once again complete the choke right here.